Do you think it is important to really have a maid of honor who's married?
For me, I think the most important thing is have someone who has the best interest of both of you, not one of you.
Yes. When the marriage is falling apart, the first question people usually ask, who was your best couple? It's among the first. Where was the best couple?
Yeah.
So it's not people you just choose lightly.
I remember during that breakfast meeting, the pastor who was with us saying that the most important witnesses apart from God are the best couple.
Yes.
Because those people's name
appear on your marriage
certificate.
Yes.
Do you know that makes you wake up?
Hello and welcome to the Wheat Podcast. My name is Maggie, and through this podcast, I hope that we can delve deeper into issues and have holistic conversations on situations and things that you'd normally ponder about and ask, what is that?
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. And if you are listening to this on podcast, this is our episode 2 of What Is That? The Wheat Podcast. If you're new here, I have launched a podcast so that also all these conversations that we are having here can be available on audio for those who prefer to have them on audio on the Wheat Podcast, WIT. We ask ourselves and we delve deeper into topics like friendship, marriage, weddings, money, motherhood, postpartum, where you really ask yourself, what is that? Or you go through something and you ask, you're processing and you're like, hey, yeah, what is that? Yes. So I'm used to saying, what is that a lot when I'm trying to wonder what happened or why would someone behave like that? Like, what is that? And that's what inspired the name. So welcome to this episode where I have my very best friend.
Oh,
you are the Yulileta in this in friendship. Maybe you late kidogo.
I am open for hiring.
She is the chief Yulileta. We can hire you too. Yeah. So this is Petrine, but I won't introduce you. I don't think you're new to my channel, by the way. You're new. You came as a doctor, but here you are as my friend. So introduce yourself. Who's Petrine?
So my name is Petrine. In this capacity in the WIT podcast.
The Wheat Podcast.
Oh, the Wheat. Fine, the Wheat. The Wheat. I'm still trying to get a hang of it, but it will soak in. Since I'm also new in this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. But in this capacity, I am a good friend to Maggie. Friend, best friend.
For years.
Okay, for years. Like her sister, actually. I'd call her my sister.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is who I am in this particular podcast. I'll leave it at that.
No, people would love to know. Who are you?
Okay, apart from being Maggie's friend, I'm also a mother. I am married. At the same time, I'm also a pediatrician. And also an individual after.
Yeah. I was almost saying, I'm mother to one lovely boy. And then I remembered, you said a mother.
Yes, I'm a
then
mother.
you left my nephew out of the definition. But welcome. What is that? You see, what is that? Why would you not say a mother to who?
I said it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to have this conversation. Today's episode is about the maid of honor. Woo. We do not speak as experts. We will only speak from our experience. Yes, because as much as she's my friend, she was also the maid of honor at our wedding. I should say our wedding. And it's a role that we've always... we looked at it the other day when I said, I want to talk about maid of honor. And we said, what does this really entail? Do people really know what a maid of honor is? And not that our definition is the perfect one. We just want to delve deeper into what this experience has taught us. Yes. So when I Googled who is a maid of honor, both of us have just been shocked right now about what Google says.
Like, what was
So
that?
what was that? Yeah, to who is called a maid of honor. You just Google, you learn that it's the influence of American English has led to the chief bridesmaid. You are my chief bridesmaid. Sometimes being called the maid of honor. In North America, a wedding party might include several bridesmaids, but the maid of honor is a title and position held by the bride's chief attendant, typically her closest friend. And that's from Bridesmaids Wikipedia. That's from Wikipedia. So then I also saw Wikipedia talks about not Wikipedia, but another site said the maid of honor is in charge of the bachelorette party and bridal shower, as well as leading the rest of the bridesmaids throughout the planning process and on the day of the wedding. So traditionally, a bride appoints a sister, female relative, or best friend as the maid of honor. So we were quite traditional, though this is not how we came to choose. But I remember in high school, we agreed we will be maid of honors. Do you have any memory of that?
I honestly do not have that particular recollection.
Just the same way you don't remember by now you are going to have like all your 4 children.
Is that necessarily now?
You don't remember where I think I decided in high school you'll be my maid of honor. Oh gosh, it wasn't reciprocated. Oh my God, I was alone in this relationship.
No. Don't think of it like that. You know, the current phase in my life, memory loss or
postpartum.
Okay,
then you're forgiven. You're forgiven. But imagine it was very set from high school. I don't know if it's because you were there when I met Dan. Dan is my husband. I don't know, but it was very set. It didn't matter who I was going to marry. You are going to be the maid of honor. Very interesting. Am I your maid of honor? Let's not go there. But anyway, so that's how I think that's what informed me. Like when I was doing a wedding, it was a no-brainer. She's my maid of honor. I'm not even considering any other thing. So was that the same for you? Did you expect to be my maid of honor?
Oh, definitely. Because if I was not going to be, you'd have to answer some questions. This one, there was no like, you're free to make your own decision.
No.
You need to tell me why. This particular
it would hurt a little bit there.
It would.
So with that, then I get why people cling on to my best friend has to be my maid of honor, even though in some circumstances it might not make sense. But what I loved is once we got into this role, we have decided, who is your maid of honor? We are being asked, Maggie's best friend. We had classes.
Yes,
we had a session at All Saints where they were meeting the best couples, the couple to be married and the best couple. I remember that day you were the one who came. The best man was not available, so you came. What did you learn from that encounter? Like, for me, I feel like that is when it hit me. Shit, it's just not a bestie issue.
Yes, for sure. Because my perspective, that was actually, I think, the second time in my life I'd ever been in a lineup.
Okay.
As an adult.
The first one was your uncle?
Yeah, the first one was my uncle's wedding. And there I was a bridesmaid, not a best maid. And, it was just, how we do it traditionally, like, XYZ's wedding is coming up. You bring some family member, another one to simamie. We sherekea that day. Once the wedding is over, it's over. We don't really know much of how things are going. Even if you make the phone call, things are okay. Yeah. But later on in life, some experiences shared with even friends, family members, I came to learn a bit more of this thing is not just about the dress on that day. It's much more than that.
It's much more. It should. Even that day, they really relayed it to us that this is more about the marriage.
It's more about the marriage.
Yes.
Because the ceremony will last for X amount of hours or days, depending on what type of culture you come from. But after that, now that is where the journey begins.
Yes.
And what I learned in that session, number one, I really love the fact that they were like, bring someone else who will hold you accountable.
Yes.
Initially, to be very honest, me, I was happy I've been invited because there's food.
And we
It was a breakfast meeting. You're being told, hi, please show up for this event. There'll be breakfast served.
Yes.
It's a buffet breakfast.
And wait.
Who am I?
Yeah.
And if I'm not wrong, I think it was after I had done a night shift. I was
Yes,
like,
you were tired.
I am
Yes.
going to attend.
Yes.
But you figure there and your motives start changing. Like, wow, okay. So the person goes on about how it's a very important role to play. And even as you're playing it, you're supposed to be non-partisan.
Yes.
In the sense that Maggie is my best friend, but I also have to learn how to be friends with Dan.
Yes.
Now, for me, at least in this particular instance, it was easy because Dan and I
is
had
your
also
friend.
been friends for quite some time.
Yeah.
And that made it easier to absorb the role, you know? And for me, the other thing that made me want to come is because I had seen you guys grow from the first time.
From the first time when I told you this will be my husband.
You know, that was, gosh, this was so many years ago.
Yeah.
And I just loved the story, how it had evolved to that moment, the planning of the proposal, everything. Like, it was just so beautiful. And I was actually honored to be invited as a bridesmaid, because I remember when you gave me your wedding date, how I had to make time to be there for that wedding, because at that time I was doing my residency program.
I remember.
And we used to do calls back to back. So if you wanted a certain weekend free, you had to be very careful what type of weekend you want to have, because we would work every alternate weekend. So that means when you have a weekend free, you're either using it to sleep, meeting up family, time for yourself. And now if you're going to meet your friends, then you'd also have to decide who am I going to meet and all that, because the time was really, really limited.
Yeah.
So I had to work extra shifts to get that weekend off. And by the time I was being told about it, I was being told, it's not a guarantee you'll get it, but I'll see what you can do.
Yeah.
How I prayed that, God,
I remember.
any other way, just give me this
weekend.
one weekend.
Yeah.
Let me be free for this one.
By the way, with that knowledge, I had zero expectations from you to do for me things before the wedding. Like, I was like, I know how residency was tough, so I had zero expectations. But did you have any expectations that you put upon yourself, that I'm supposed to do this before the wedding?
What I remember, the role I had to play was to make sure my best friend is holding it together throughout the whole process of planning. Because remember, from the meetings that we used to have, from the dress fittings, like...
We went with you for all dress
yes,
fittings.
it was simply, what can I do to make the process better for you? That was how I took it. And for me, it wasn't work for me, because I was doing this for someone that I love.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. But did it give you like jitteriness to be a maid of honor?
No, I was very excited for the day. I was very excited. I'm like, oh my God.
Really?
My dress
So you've had the experience of being a maid of honor. I've had the experience of being a maid of honor. I know she'll be watching this. If you're hearing this, hi, Riziki. So it was my first time, and it was different from now what us we have in that I got to learn her before the wedding. Like, you know, my husband and the husband knew each other, were close friends, and now I was invited to be a maid of honor because they wanted a married couple. So I understand that circumstances can be different, where people don't know each other, and then you find yourself with this person as the maid of honor. But even before I talk about like what that has taught me, I believe I stem a lot of how I would want to be her maid of honor now post-wedding from this relationship.
Aww.
Yes. I get a lot of what I need to do for her from this relationship. So we go to All Saints, we have breakfast, and then they tell us, you're no longer accountable to just me. You're also you're holding both of us accountable, and you're meant to be his friend. Do you know how that changed me? Because I was like, I lost my best friend. I was like, I don't think I want to share this,
Oh,
woman. that realization, I think it popped up in one of the maybe one argument we had, and you didn't take my side. And you told me I need to also talk to Dan. I'm like, what is this democracy? So how did you assume this role? Like, let's see, what you've learned this and this from all since you're both of us. How has it been to assume such a role?
Again, for me, it doesn't feel like work.
Okay.
Because it's something that I'm doing from the bottom of my heart.
Oh.
And even if, for me, I think it's not just a duty to the couple,
Yes.
but on that day of the wedding day, when you're there, you're both taking the vow to God. Yeah. And then also in front of the witnesses who are there. Now, I remember during that breakfast meeting, the pastor who was with us saying that the most important witnesses, apart from God, are the best couple.
Yes.
Because those people's name
Appear on your marriage
certificate.
Yes.
Do you know that makes you wake up?
Yes.
And
I think we both woke up
Yes.
like, ooh, this
You're
role is just not bestie.
So it's not just the dress thing and every and no.
Yes.
Such that I become a very important witness.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I have put my signature. Do you know how humble and important one can at the same time feel when you're standing at the front of the church, facing the congregation? It's a very humbling moment.
Yeah.
For me, I was very humbled to have been chosen to do that role. And I was like, I'm in it for the long haul, because that's when now I'm starting to appreciate that marriage is not just about on the day.
Yes.
And also something else that really made me take that role seriously is an elderly couple that I know. And they've been through some patches in their life. And I like having conversations with people I can learn something from. So we were having a candid conversation, and I asked one of them, is there anything you wish your bridal team would have done for you during your marriage? And they said, the times when we were having it very rough, no one was there.
Yeah.
That hit me very hard.
Yeah.
So when I learned that, then is when I came to understand. And this was after the first time I had become what's it called? A bridesmaid.
Yes.
After that, I became very selective on whose wedding lineup I'm going to be on, because I'm taking it upon myself that when this couple needs help, I will be there to help. I will be there protecting their marriage, fighting for it, because I'm a believer of fighting for marriages. But of course, there are those caveats. There shouldn't be wife battering and stuff like that. Yeah, that's something for another day. But that is what I believe in. Like, if you've been given a responsibility in life, play to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
Because even through that, you're holding the couple up. Sometimes they may not have the strength to do it themselves. But you are drawing strength from wherever it is that you will be to be able to hold them up. And you never know. Next time, it could be you. So that in itself made me very selective. By the time I'm saying yes, I'll be on a bridal party.
You have thought
I
about
have thought,
it.
and I am committing myself to a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
That for me, that's my perspective.
Yeah. What kind of roles should someone who's been chosen as a maid of honor, since you have experience, I'll also share my experience.
Okay.
Did you find yourself taking up on the day?
On the day,
Let's just start with, I know I didn't even go for my last dress fitting. So you brought the dress. I just trusted. And I was like, you pick it for me.
okay. So on the day, those roles, expectations should be clearly aligned before the day. This is months before. Because for me, I'll tell you what I think about it. the best maid's job is to ensure that the bride has, if possible, a seamless day.
Okay.
If even possible, alleviate her worries, whatever it is. Can she have her dress ready? If there's anyone who needs to pick it up, if I am not in the capacity to be able to do it, then am I able to delegate? Okay. At the same time, there's normally the worry about, my bridesmaids are they at par? Like, is everything okay? So also liaise with maybe someone else within the bridal party to ensure that everything else amongst the bridesmaids is done. We had that. We had
a very solid bridal team who are still my inner circle.
Exactly.
Yes,
And we were able to coordinate things properly so that we're not following up on each other. No one is late and all that. That is there. And then also just making sure that the bride definitely looks pretty on that day.
Yeah.
Make sure her makeup is done, her hair is done. I remember
when we went to do the hair.
And your mother was on my neck. Can you bring Maggie? She should be
because all
right
the grandmothers have arrived, and me, I'm still making my hair and getting a massage.
All that. And Maggie has just decided, by the way, you're answering my phone calls. I do not want any more stress. So you have to talk to her mother. You have to talk to everyone. Just tell them we're on the way
And
home.
you have to learn how to talk to them.
Exactly. And this was like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Because everyone is like, she needs to sleep, she needs to rest and everything like that.
I think we slept quite early.
Yeah, we did. Then even on waking up, having to make sure that you have eaten.
You literally fed me. Because I was so nervous, I couldn't focus on food. You used to come, open your mouth, I eat something. That's how I ate.
Because that day, if you don't have that morning breakfast, if you're on the bridal team, it's going to be a long day. A very, very long day.
Yes.
But I believe it's one day in which just one day, where someone can sacrifice themselves and say, okay, fine, I'll do A, B, C, D to the best of my ability to be able to make this person's day memorable. Let them have their time. Because now after we leave the house, as you're leaving, you have to make sure she's carried the right bag. She's carried, the pen. Simple small things like a pen. Because that pen is going to be used for signing the certificate. Yeah. Wet wipes. What else? Lip balm. Just small things. Even planning how you're going to go to the loo. If you need to go to the loo. Then now there's when you get to the ceremony. And at the same time, you're also feeling beautiful as the bride, as the best maid. But remember, the day is hers. So you cannot, walk beside her. That's not your job. You walk behind her. You walk behind her. And also make sure that the dress is well fanned out, you know. So I remember every time just bending too.
You did all that bending?
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
I recently did it.
And every time, but if you don't do it, there'll be someone who'll prod you.
Yeah.
From the
fix it.
from the aisle.
Yeah.
I remember some of your aunties would be like, fix you and go fix you. And you're walking to the so they're smiling, but someone is nudging you like, guys, I get
aunties. It. I didn't know about all this.
So by the time you're getting to the altar, so I am sure by your wedding footage, my face must be most of the time
you
down
were
there.
work mode.
Yes.
And work mode.
Then after the church, now there's the reception part.
Wait, keeping the marriage certificate you kept it for a whole year. I wish you kept it longer. Now I don't know where it is. Keeping it because things can get hectic and you're given.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, it depends on how do you know this? How do you know your people? So I'm not trying to say that some people are careless.
You're saying it without saying it.
But actually because from most weddings, what I've seen, once the certificate is signed, it's normally put in the groom's jacket. But
I think it's just a show. I don't believe it. I just think it's a show. Those grooms stay with it the whole day? Okay, you tell us if you were groomed and you got it, ama your husband, you aliekewa certificate kwa jacket. Did he stay with it the whole day or did custody change?
But that's the other thing. Because if it's not kept in their jacket, then it's kept in that little bag that you have.
Yes.
Now, who carries that bag for the bride? It's the best
Yeah.
maid.
Yeah.
So that is how I ended up with it, because even Dan's attire did not.
Didn't have a jacket.
There was no jacket.
Yeah.
So that is how I ended up with it, and how I guarded that thing with my life, because
Only for it to be lost.
by who? Kindly
Me.
clarify. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll find it. I'll find
yeah,
it when we are moving. Yeah.
Because I couldn't give it to you guys on that day of the wedding or
Yeah.
the night, because there was just so much activity, hula baloo. I was like, these guys are going to lose this thing.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the most important
Precious.
things of
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah.
So I stayed with it. I kept asking you, should I give it? He's like, no, stay with it.
I knew why. Now do you see? I knew
Now,
why.
Did you even have a photocopy of it?
No.
My
Did you even laminate it?
I even
It is somewhere. It's somewhere in my
Okay.
office.
I
yeah,
pray
I
that
never
you get
walked
it.
with it. Yeah.
I really pray that you
yeah.
get it.
So the day can be quite hectic.
Oh yes, it
It
can
is
be.
hectic.
It can be.
In my experience, I needed like a back massage after that day.
was a
yeah,
long day.
like it's like you're giving yourself. It's literally it's service.
It is.
It is service.
It is.
How has it been beyond the wedding?
What
Have you understood this role to be beyond the wedding? Because we are past the wedding.
I came to understand more that this is a role you do for someone that you hold dear in your heart. Or that person that you can go the extra mile for, and don't expect anything in return, because having that expectation might set you up for disaster. So for me, that was one of the greatest learning points. I was like, I will help because I committed myself to do it. Even if she is not there for me on the days I will need her, it's okay. Me, I will have done my part. The other part is for her to do. Yeah, so for me, that's how seriously I take it. Until I even told myself, the next time I'll be a best maid, you must really mean a lot to me, because it's a job. I remember after the wedding, now that's when we were properly put to the test, especially during COVID times.
Ooh, marriage is hard, guys.
Especially during COVID times.
Yeah.
During the pregnancy, after
Postpartum was hard.
Yes, it's
Was
like
the hardest.
it
Or
was-
even during even when the pregnant. By the way, even before I went to theater, you were there. Okay, yeah.
So
You've been there for us. Yeah.
it's been crazy.
Yeah.
But it's even been draining, to say the least. It's emotionally intensive, emotionally draining. There are even times when I've had to, just take a step back and go like, okay, let me breathe. Let me sleep on it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is another day, we'll figure it out.
Aki, for context. Tupe context kidogo. Tuna sound huyu anakaa ametubeba kwa mgongo. There have been moments where it's been very hard in our marriage, and when we need a third party, by the way, you're no-brainer. We just call Petrine, because you understand both of us. Because marriage has been difficult. Some moments, it's a season, there are high seasons where you guys are good, but the really lows can go really low. And then we find that both of us only trust maybe you and most recently someone else now to just open up. And I can imagine you always sit there and you're like, Kai, communication. Huyu anasema hivi na hawasikizani, because they just sometimes we are on different ends. And there's a time you told me, him is just saying this, and you told me that's not what he's saying. Communication can be an issue, and I can imagine being having an out of body experience, and then now me watching us when we were really low. Hey, so you carried this role with grace.
Not only that, again, the personalities.
Oh, we are intense.
You're both
intense
and very headstrong.
and very opposite.
This one is looking the other way. That other one is looking the other way. Now you have to make these two
Face each other.
and
Yeah.
not kill each other. Because if that happens, there are different people you'll have to report to, including the parents. I don't even know how you start carrying this news to the parents.
Yeah, where were you?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
So yeah, that I know. Whew. Yeah, it can be really intense. But hey, you've carried the role with grace. That's what I have to say. That's what I've said. Because when I was called to be a maid of honor, startled because I was like, to do what Petrine does. And I had to really call myself for a meeting because some of us are not privileged enough to have maid of honors who are your best friends or your friends. You can find yourself in a situation where the church really wants someone married. Now, looking back at hindsight, you were not married when I was getting married.
Nope.
And I think all since having that session where the expectations that were laid out was a game changer. Do you think it is important to really have a maid of honor who's married?
For me, I think the most important thing is have someone who has the best interest of both of you, not one of you.
Yes.
Both of you.
Yeah.
But even if it is one of you, at least some inclination that, yeah, okay, fine, I can. No, actually, it shouldn't. It should be
Both of
someone
you.
who has the interest. Yeah, because
you dropped my interest.
communal. Yeah, because you are there to make the marriage work. And the marriage is the two of them, not your friend, your best friend, and then the other person is the other one. No, because it's very important for that to happen, so that you're not taking sides when there's a dispute, which will always be there one way or another. You're not taking sides. It shouldn't be that you come in to tell me about Dan and I'm like, yeah, that man, why did you even marry him? You know? Yeah, let's leave him. I'll come and hear you with all the ideas you have.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
And you always say it with grace. Yeah, just give me time. I find some time. I talk to him. I also hear you.
Yeah.
In that moment, I'm just like, who are you? We are supposed to.
No, I'm sorry.
Fighting together.
We are fighting together, but at a different front.
Okay.
To achieve a common goal, which is to keep the marriage standing.
Okay.
Yeah, because my duty is not only to you. My duty is to Dan and you, because I stood there, made my commitment in front of God. Okay. That's how seriously I take it.
Yeah, you changed the game for me. You really changed the game for me. I remember when I was now becoming a maid of honor, and in that time we didn't know each other, so we had like a lunch to know each other, because Dan and our friend Martin knew each other, but now me and Resh didn't know each other. So taking up the role, I think I was really mimicking what you did for me on the wedding day. I was not able to be there for her even before the wedding, the planning, because I was brought on board like really close, less than a month to the wedding. And even when I wanted to do more, I didn't have a nanny. Mama ilikuwa imenilemea. But I also used to check in with her. Then we went to Mombasa for the wedding, and mugongo ilinama na yo dress ilinama. But what made it so easy for me was that I wanted to know her. And even the experience I had with her was already pleasant. Like I was like, this is someone I can be friends with. So to someone who's not had that kind of relationship that's so close, what would you advise them when they've been told, you're the maid of honor? How do they make themselves ready to stand with you for the rest of the marriage, not just the wedding?
Okay.
No, this is me asking for advice.
Yeah. Such an elder in the
Before
society.
even you give me the advice, because you made me know the maid of honor role is important. When the marriage is falling apart, the first question people usually ask, who was your best couple? It's among the first. Where was the best couple?
Yeah.
So it's not people you just choose lightly. And with that in mind, I remember telling her just recently, I want us to have, monthly dates, hang out, just know each other. Because of course, how would someone share anything with you if they don't know you?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm the one who took up the position of service. Because it's service. It's serving yourself to this marriage. So it's for me to actually reach out and say, hey, can we hang out? Just to know her, so that in knowing her, we become even closer. What else would you advise someone who has entered this role and they don't know what to do beyond the day?
So there's something very important you have said.
Yeah.
But I'll just summarize it. You took it upon yourself that, okay, the day is less than a month away. I don't know this lady. Let me get to know her a bit. That is a positive step in the sense that I am now taking steps forward to already know about this job.
Yeah.
After is when the work begins. Don't just end it there that, okay, fine, the wedding is over. I stood. We all looked pretty for the pictures.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm. After that, make it intentional. That is what you decided to do. You decided to be intentional about the journey, which is very important because just as this couple is going to work on their marriage, then you also have to work on your commitment to make this whole thing work. Because for me, that's why I keep saying I won't take the role if I know I will not commit myself to it.
Okay.
And that means after that, how are we going to proceed after this? Am I someone who's going to be approachable enough for you to share your thoughts, your everything with? And the other thing that I make it important to also let the couple know, whichever it is that I will not be, I'll not have a favorite. I'll listen, when the time comes, I'll listen to both of you. Because the other role that is very important, something else that someone needs to know about this couple, as you're getting to know them, get to find out who else can they trust. That is so important.
Yeah.
Because the day when chaos hits the roof, you will need that extra help.
Yeah.
You
need a community.
You definitely. It takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
I also think it takes a community to keep a marriage.
Yes.
And that's why even when you're having the wedding, there are witnesses such that after that, if I see Maggie with someone else and I attended her wedding, you cannot just do things anyhowly because you had witnesses. You called them to witness that, this is the person I've chosen. So if you are a witness, you have a role to play one way or another. Just depends on what level are you willing to go to play it. So I'd just say, make it intentional. Take it upon yourself. And don't let it be like, if she doesn't call me, I won't call her. No. She gave you a role to play. You accepted it. So what lengths are you willing to go to? Because it's purely service. It is literally, let me wash your feet.
Yeah.
And even if you don't do the same for me, I think it should be okay.
Yeah.
Because
in that instance.
In that instance. Because there's a reason why someone decided, let me pick you. Even if the church imposes, there's a reason as to why.
They didn't just pick any couple.
Yes. They could have gone to Hilton, Huko, and picked the two random people. Are you married? Are you married? No.
20.
Or sour. But I believe everything happens for a reason. So it's just now the role, the seriousness, how serious, how committed you want to be about it. Because at the end of the day, you will have an account to give as the most important witness of that wedding.
True. Something you said there, I think someone you trust. I think trust is something that you've given us, which I would love to say thank you. Aww. Because, when you're going through stuff, you don't want to share with people, just anyone, because you might also think, and then nani ambie nani, and then nani ambie nani. If there is someone I trust with my secrets, it's you. So I think also honored. That role requires someone who understands what confidentiality and trust are. Because once trust is broken, it's over.
It's true.
It's over.
It's true.
Okay, so if you are a maid of honor and maybe there's no personal relationship, take it upon yourself to be intentional. And there are people who, to date, they've gotten married years, but they've never talked to their maid of honors and vice versa, or the maid of honors never talked to them. Like that relationship completely ended.
So the question is why?
Yeah.
Why? Because definitely different seasons
require different people.
Different people. As long as you learn what you need to learn from that season and move on.
Yeah.
But does it mean that even I think it just goes back to the basics of friendship. Yeah. If you have your tight-knit circle and they asked you to stand with them on the lineup, you don't necessarily even need to be a maid of honor to be able to commit yourself to making sure that marriage works. You don't need to get to that level.
Yeah.
It's simply, I care about ABCD. Yo, you guys, how are you guys doing? Let's meet up, let's watch. It can even be as simple as we hang out, Then when there's a problem, even your spouse, who we don't really talk much with, but has seen how I carry you guys, is able to say, hey, by the way, I'm not able to tell you much, but please just talk to your friend, And that way, you're like, okay, fine. I've been called for duty. I will report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. I love this conversation. When I had this conversation of bridesmaids versus brides on Instagram, I learned that people just, it's on my highlights on Instagram, but people are don't really think deep into these roles, even just bridesmaids generally. People would maybe pick the prettier one, or you're friends with this one, but you don't feel like they are lineup material. And people have had issues in the planning of the wedding where they just fall out. They actually fall out because of a dress or the color of the dress or the price of the dress. They don't hear each other. Like, people are not really mindful. We'll come to a conversation where we talk about brides. It's just that today it's about the maid of honor and all that. But I think I have learned a few things here and there. I don't think I have anything more to say. But to that lady who's gonna be a maid of honor, what would you tell them? From your experience, yes.
My dear friend, my dear sister, should you decide to be a maid of honor, you will enjoy your day. I hope you really do. But remember, it's a commitment to protect that couple's marriage. It's a commitment that you make not just in front of the couple, but also God.
In front of God.
And the other witnesses, such that whenever there is a problem, the society will always ask, where was the best couple? So do it, even if there'll be no thanks. You're not doing it for you. You're doing it because it's like an oath that someone has taken, That's how I view it, Do it, and do it to the best of your ability, knowing that your reward is with God and not man.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your bits and pieces of wisdom on this topic. I chose you because of the experience I have had of you, which has been lovely.
Thank you.
And I really hope someone has gained from this conversation. Hey, conversation. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know your maid of honor experiences in the comment section, whether you are one or whether you were a bride on the receiving end of such a role. So let me know how that went. Audio episodes more. Remember that this episode will be available on all podcast platforms under the name The Wheat Podcast. Until next time, bye-bye.